Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. If you are new, I would love it if you would consider subscribing before you leave so you don't miss out on my future videos. Today's video, we are upcycling 3 jars. These are just things I had saved from food and stuff. I like to save a lot of any jars that are kind of unique looking. I tend to save them. And so today's video, we're gonna upcycle them into home decor. This video is also a part of Flippin Friday, which is hosted by Jamie from Board or Bananas and her other channel, Board or Bananas DIY. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a little bit, but we're gonna get started into the first DIY. Okay, so this first jar came from, well, it was a spice jar. It was a large spice jar, I think from Sam's Club or something, a long time ago. And so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just try out this adhesive eraser that I had picked up from the Dollar Tree that I had showed you previously. I tried it on the back of a Dollar Tree sign and it didn't work. So I thought, well, let me give it a try on this glass jar. And I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. There was no instructions on it when I got it, but it doesn't work, guys. So I just thought I'd share that with you. I know you'd asked me to let you know. If you've had better success, please let me know. But yeah, so far it's a no-go. So I'm going to my tried and true. I use orange essential oil, but you can use Goo Gone or even soap and water. And I'm just going to clean off the adhesive and then use some rubbing alcohol to make sure there's no oil residue or fingerprints or dust. Just give ourselves a nice clean surface to start with. And then I'm going to use white Waverly chalk paint. And I do give this jar, I believe it was about 3 coats, and I'm covering everything, including the bottom, which you don't necessarily have to do, but I did feel like it gave it a more finished look. Not that anyone's really going to see it, but that's what I'm doing. And just make sure that you let it dry thoroughly in between coats. That is really important. And here's a sneak peek of my other project, one of the other projects in today's video. Don't worry, we're not just painting a bunch of things white. There is more to it, but I forgot to get that out of the shot, and I was working on everything simultaneously. Like I said, this video is a part of Flippin Friday, which is hosted by Jamie from Board or Bananas and her second channel, Board or Bananas DIY. She does DIYs and thrifting videos and thrifting hauls. So check out her channel below along with the playlist to the Flippin Friday challenge. The idea is to take items that you thrifted or have lying around, old items you haven't used, or for me today, I'm kind of recycling, upcycling. And yeah, so check out that playlist for lots of fun project ideas. So I have these rub-on transfers. They are from the Dollar Tree, and then the other ones are stickers from the Dollar Tree. And we're just going to get them on best we can. When I do DIYs, I do my best to kind of glean from what I've seen in store-bought stuff or stuff online. So like here, I'm mixing up my fonts, adding in details or different textures or layering things kind of helps make it look a little bit more high-end or a little bit more store-bought. So I try to keep that in mind when doing my projects. So I put on a farm fresh milk, which I thought was pretty cute. And now I'm going in with some Mod Podge, giving everything a nice coat. Now I decided to go in with some black acrylic paint for some accenting and aging kind of distressing look. And I should have done that before I Mod Podge, so I do another coat of Mod Podge. But that's because when I start, I don't always know how I'm going to end this. I kind of make it up as I go along. And the Mod Podge helps the stickers, but I believe it also helps keep the paint from chipping. So at least it does in my mind. Now to end this, I am just taking some twine. This is in the 3-pack twine from the tool area of the Dollar Tree, and wrapping that around and tying it in a bow. And then we're going to take a lighter and just burn off the extra fuzzies. I also like the look that this gives the twine, and I will show you how it looks in the end. So for this next one, I think this jar may have been a spaghetti sauce jar, but I'm not positive. So I saw this various places online about tinting your glass with Mod Podge and food coloring. So I wanted to give this a try, and I'm going to admit that this doesn't come out the way I wanted it to, but I'm going to show you how I did it. So I have Mod Podge in a bowl, some yellow food coloring. We're going to mix that up really well. I know it looks orange, but it's yellow. And then I've seen that you would add in a little bit of water. I don't know if I added too much water. I don't know if I didn't add enough food coloring. Anyways, we'll proceed. So we're going to mix that together. We're going to pour that in our jar, and then we're going to make sure we cover the whole inside of it and let it slowly drip out. And I kind of rotate the jar as we go to make sure everything is, yeah, fully coated. Honestly, if it stayed like this, I would have liked it better. I knew it was going to be more transparent in the end, but this would have looked better. And then you're going to leave it upside down to dry for quite a while. Then you're going to flip it over and let it dry. But I held it up for a while to let most of it drip out so that it wouldn't be pooled at the bottom when it was resting and drying. I will show you in the end how it came out. So for this final upcycle project, I have this jar. This is actually from some peaches from Aldi. They have them at different specialty times, like the holiday seasons usually. I'm just going to clean the lid and the jar itself with some rubbing alcohol. Once again, so we have a clean start. And I'm going to give the jar itself a few coats of the white Waverly chalk paint. You do not need to do the bottom of this one at all. I mean, you didn't have to have the last one either, but we're going to give this a couple coats, once again, letting it dry thoroughly in between. And now I'm going in with some burnt umber acrylic paint from Apple Barrel, and I'm going to paint the lid. Now, initially, I just kind of did the edges, and you're going to see what would it normally be like the bottom part of it. I do end up later on, I don't show it, just do the whole thing like the bottom, none of the inside of the lid, not the white part, but all of the gold I did end up covering. But you'll see how it goes together and decide how much of it you want to paint. And I am going to do a couple of coats of that, 2 or 3 coats, again, letting it dry thoroughly in between. Then we're going to cover everything, the lid and the jar, in a good coat of Mod Podge. Once again, for me, I feel like the Mod Podge keeps the paint from chipping off better, especially on glass, and I want it to be able to be, freely used in my home decor. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That really does help me out. I would so appreciate it. So we're going to attach the lid to the bottom of the jar, and because of the shape of the jar, I felt like it wasn't going to fully attach. So I have these little wood domino pieces from the Dollar Tree, and they're great for this kind of a thing. So I'm cutting them in half, trying to figure out how many of them I need in order to make a connection from the jar to the lid. I'm using this Gorilla Household Glue. I also use a little bit of hot glue. I just kind of messed around. I wasn't sure if I was doing all of the right adhesives. I'm always like, am I doing the right thing? I don't know. So use what you have on hand. I ended up using 3 halves of the wood dominoes, but that's going to depend on what jar and everything you're using. So I am adding in a little bit of glue. We're going to glue them together. We're going to glue them to the bottom of the lid or the top of the lid. Depends on how you look at it. It's now the base. And we're going to get that all attached. And then I'm going to use some E6000 because we are using glass. My E6000 is a spray, and the spray does not work great in my opinion. So I'm just going to apply it with my sponge brush. And I'm going to apply that to attach the wood pieces to the lid, and then to attach the jar to the wood pieces. It sounds more complicated than it is, but it's all right. You guys can see, what I'm doing. All the glues, because I didn't know which one was going to be the best way to attach it. And then we're going to attach this. Now, I don't show this. I put a heavy object on top to hold it for quite a while because both of those glues there take a while to set. So just keep that in mind. And then I've got this cute ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to simply put a little piece of glue. This has a nice edge, so I didn't feel like I needed to add a bow or anything, so I'm just cutting it again, and we're going to glue the other side to it, and that's going to be it for this little, decorative container vase thing. All right, so this is a corner of my kitchen, and as soon as I hit record, some motor, I think my refrigerator just came on, so whatever. So I just wanted to show you what I was going to be doing with the things. And I also will point out really quick, this was in a video, Try It Tuesday, and I ended up repainting the frame to brighten it up a little bit. So I don't know if you saw that video, but it just didn't quite go with my decor properly. So I just switched it up by adding some paint. But anyways, I am gonna be honest, I'm not super thrilled with how this came out. But, so I don't know that I'm gonna use it, but my thought was to switch this out and put this here because I've got the yellow, but it's just blotchy and not great. So I don't know. I may go back and try and do another coat, or I may just give up on it. But you know what? That's all right. I tried with an old spaghetti sauce jar, and so it's okay if it didn't come out. And I'm including it in the video because that is just real life. And then I wanted to show you, I'm not sure, I probably won't put this over here because it might be too crowded, but I love it. I think it's super cute. And you could leave it empty, or just like I've got this little lamb's ear in there. I feel like it's a little too busy with all of this, so I probably won't leave it here. Maybe I'll stick it on another counter, but love how that came out. So ignore the stove. I really need to clean up here, but I think this might be where I put it, on the other side of my stove here. Super cute. And I just stuck some more lamb's ear in this one as well. This will probably end up on a shelf somewhere, but I love how this came out. I love the idea of attaching it to the lid and using the lid as a base. It just adds a little extra detail. Well, I hope you enjoyed those DIYs, including the fail. I don't know if I did something wrong. If I did, let me know. If you've tried this and you've had better success, let me know. Maybe it was a poor quality of food coloring, or I watered it down a little too much. I don't know, but I figured I would include that in it anyway because you see these ideas online and you're like, hey, do they actually work? So anyways, I thought I'd show you my experience, but I really love how the other ones came out and I hope you do too. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on my future videos, and I'll see you next time.